Hi, you guys. Give me 1 second. I feel like my screen is really dark. I don't think it affects, I've done a little test, and I don't think it affects how you see me, but it affects how I see me. And I would like it to be a little bit brighter. Hold on 1 second. Yes. Oh, and I have my blue light filter on. There's the problem. Okay. Um, so, I wanted to, I'm going to keep this really short. I don't have any intention of making this anything that's very drawn out or extensive. But I just felt a couple of days ago, and this is the first chance I've had to get on here and do this, but I felt a couple of days ago a prompting from the Lord. He's great, by the way. I don't know if you know the Lord, but if you don't know him, you are missing out. You are missing out. The Lord is amazing. He's amazing. He's the best friend ever. But I am off topic. But seriously, if you don't know the Lord, you need to get to know him. He really is the best. And he loves you. He loves you so much. So, this is what I felt like I wanted to say. That what you see going on in our nation right now, the incredible animosity between parties, and the strong, almost unbelievable resistance to anything and everything President Trump tries to do, and all the different stuff. You know, I mean, I could sit here and name all sorts of issues, current issues in our government and in our nation. All those things, they are a bigger deal than what maybe some of you realize. Even though most of you can recognize that it's ugly and it's not good. You know, you might say, oh, it's really not good. Things are not good. But I felt like what I needed to say to you is to try to impress upon you just how serious these issues are. That we really are at war as a nation. Though we aren't pointing guns, though one party is not pointing guns and throwing bombs at the other party, and though nobody is at least at this point trying to physically kill President Trump, though it doesn't have the appearance of the historical Civil War, make no mistake about it, our nation is in the throes of a civil war. And the future of this great republic is at stake. The outcome of this civil war is going to determine the future of this great nation. And unless you recognize the severity, the reality of what's going on, you're not likely to pray with urgency. You're likely to chalk it up to politics as usual, or politicians will be politicians. You know, like you might say, boys will be boys. You know, we don't like it. We could do better, but it's politics as usual. It's not politics as usual. It's not this time. Many times in the past, through many different administrations and decades gone by, there's been conflict between parties and people who have been outspoken against the sitting president. But in those instances, however bad it was, you could, for the most part, say it was politics as usual. But you've got to get this. You've got to understand this. And I'm not trying to. I would never, ever, 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 ever in a million years want to try to make you afraid, because I am always on a campaign against fear, trying to help people get free from fear's tyranny. So trust me when I tell you, I'm not trying to instill fear in you, but I am trying to help sober you up and help you to view what's going on in our nation and in our government with your eyes wide open. And so if your eyes are wide open and you can see and you discern with the eyes of your spirit man, if you're a Christian, you discern with the eyes of your spirit man, it will become clear to you that we are in the middle of a civil war. It doesn't matter that we're not shooting each other. It doesn't, with physical guns, it doesn't matter that we're not throwing bombs at each other. It doesn't make it any less of a civil war. And there's a lot at stake. There's a lot at stake. Like I said at the start, there's the future of our nation is hanging in the balance. And what you need to understand about President Trump, however much he chafes you, however much his mannerism and the way that he speaks and that he's a little crass and he doesn't filter his words and he's not couth and all the stuff that you might think that you want in a president. Let me just tell you something, honey. This nation in the throes of a civil war that began before President Trump, it's been going on for a while. This nation needs President Trump, needs a president who will not be bullied by anybody, but who sees clearly and recognizes the unique and critical epoch that we are currently in, and who clearly discerns the weightiness and the gravity of what's at stake, and is not afraid to take care of business and deal with politicians gone rogue, politicians who don't love this nation, who have a self-serving agenda, who aren't interested in protecting us or upholding our Constitution, but are only interested in pushing their own agenda, which is anti-American, anti-Constitution. President Trump is the man for the job. Doesn't matter that he doesn't always act like the kind of president that you think would make you happier. Doesn't matter. None of that is as important as the future of our nation. President Trump is a president who recognizes that we are a nation in the throes of a civil war. And he is fighting for us. He is fighting for our freedom. He is fighting for the continuation of this democratic republic, which is a government by the people, for the people. And he may be having to do some unconventional things, and he's stirring up all kinds of he's stirring up, what's the phrase, I'm drawing a blank, something about a hornet's nest. Anyway, he's making people mad. He's making people mad all along the way. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The president is not supposed to try to make everybody happy. The president is part of his number one job description is to protect us. National security is his job. And he is able to discern that our security and our future as a nation is at stake. And so he's refusing to back down or be bullied. He's looking at the big picture. So that's what I felt like I needed to share with you. That, not so much about President Trump. I didn't intend to get into that, but to help you understand that it's not just politics as usual. This bickering and this resistance against President Trump from the Democrats and all of that. It's not just politics as usual. We are in the middle of a civil war. We are in the middle of a civil war, and the future of our nation is at stake. And so we need for you to be sober-minded. We need for you to step up to the plate through prayer and letting your voice be heard in Washington, D.C. Contact your representative and your senator and write letters and make phone calls and send emails and every which way that you can let your voice be heard. But don't sit idly by. Don't chalk it up to politicians just being politicians. It's not. This is, in fact, a unique time, like no other time in our nation's history. Okay? I love you guys, and be encouraged. Don't be disheartened, but let this serve as a wake-up call. Let this serve as like a trumpet blast to say, "Hey, wake up! Wake up! This is more serious than what you think." Okay? All right. Share this. Well, I'm trying to end it. All right. I'm going to try pushing this button one more time. All right, bye-bye. My goodness, it doesn't want to let me end it. All right. This is me signing off.